This is Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. My guest may have been
From WHYY in Philadelphia, I'm Terry Gross with Fresh Air. Today, Toni Morrison.
This is Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. James Baldwin was one of the most influential writers to emerge during the
Quentin Tarantino, welcome back to Fresh Air. So,
good to be here.
From WHYY in Philadelphia, I'm Terry Gross with Fresh Air. Today, Michael Pollan, author of The Omnivore's Dilemma and The Botany of Desire, talks about his new book. It covers the history of psychedelic drugs like LSD.
This is Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. Godzilla was king of the monsters, and the movie was king of all monster movies.
Hey everybody, Gabe from Thinking Outside the Long Box. And so with COVID and just kind of how much time we're stuck at home, like you get too much free time to think about what you're doing and like, you know, the projects that you're working on, all that sort of thing. And off the back of getting the chance to interview Tommy Chong, I've thought about some of the people that I have wanted to interview, you know, kind of throughout my life. You know, several people come to mind. I would have killed to interview Anthony Bourdain. I would have loved to interview, well, I still would love to interview Henry Rollins. I would love to interview, you know, Kevin Smith, all those people. But I keep getting told something, and I've been told something for several years, that when I ask questions in my interviews, that they're really unique questions. And that got me thinking about kind of where I got the idea and how I approach interviews and why. So before I get too much further into this, like I'm hoping that this YouTube video will kind of go out, like that there will be more than like our normal audience watching it. So let me quickly explain a little bit about who I am and why I started this project and, you know, how it's gonna go and why I decided to do this. So first of all, I'm Gabe Giannis. This is my daughter Hannah. She's right behind me. One of the many children I have.
You have four.
I have four. That's right.
A lot.
So about 6 years ago, I was approached by my friend Juan Murrow at a comic book shop that I worked at. And he said that he wanted to start a podcast, and like a moron, I said yes, because podcasts take a lot of time, a lot of effort, usually for little to no reward, which is totally fine. So for the last 6 years, we have been creating a podcast called Thinking Outside the Long Box. It is, it's very fun. It's like one of my favorite hobbies that I've ever had.
Really?
It's not, yes.
I didn't know.
I'm trying to talk to the camera.
Well, okay.
It's one of my favorite hobbies I've ever had. You know, obviously you can see I collect a lot of things. I spend a lot of time doing stuff. Yeah, but I got a little distracted by my phone right there. But over those 6 years, I've had the opportunity to interview a lot of people. And it started with one interview, like the whole 6 years that we've been around, I've been pursuing and, you know, trying to get an interview with Kevin Smith because he's one of my personal heroes. Like, you know, he basically created the movies that are my high school experience, you know, but you know, with that happening, one of the first people that we reached out to were people that were on the cast of Comic Book Men. We got an interview with Robert Bruce, which was fascinating. He spent the entire time in a market in Philadelphia eating a sandwich, and it was
What?
Yeah.
Eating a sandwich?
Yeah, he was eating a sandwich while I interviewed him.
I mean,
There's
sandwiches
another
are
lady, Auntie Angel, another great interview early in the show's history, where Auntie Angel was watching TV. Like you
Oh
could
my
hear the TV
God.
like blasting. Do you think you're less of an interruption than the TV? Okay,
No.
just making sure. So with those early interviews, like we kind of set the the understanding that, like, while our show is petty and vulgar and rude and hilarious and intentionally like created to be just kind of like a pain in the ass sort of podcast, we talk about our strong opinions on politics and our strong opinions on pop culture, originally starting out very specifically with comic books, but now moving more into like movies and television, things like that. I know that our show is like one amongst a galaxy worth of podcasts. But is that Mom yelling for you?
No, she told the dog to be quiet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a dog.
I can't. I have my headphones in. I can't hear.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I know that we're a blip on the radar in the galaxy of like pop culture podcasts. Like there's thousands of them. I understand that.
There is
a
lot.
There are lots, but we do love doing it. And one of the things that I truly love doing about it is interviews. So while the show is nutty and like, I mean, let's face it, it's like a morning drive time radio show. It's ridiculous. Like we cuss and we say stupid things, and like Doyle is like occasionally racist, and it's terrible. We're terrible people, and I understand that. But I've always approached the interviews with the kind of seriousness that I think the people that create the things that I love deserve. I, like so many people, am a lifelong fan of comic books, movies, television, regular ass books. I like to read, all of those things. And I've always been fascinated with like the mind of the creator, because I know what's going on in my mind when I'm doing things like this, or when I'm doing, my own personal, project Dark and Weird, like, all of those things. I know how I feel and how I understand things, but I don't necessarily know how other people feel and understand things. And I really want to know those things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, what?
I also like comic books.
I know you like comic books.
They're fun.
It'd be hard not to like comic books with as many comic books as are laying around the house, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be.
A little bit.
Just because I'm 9 doesn't mean I can't read the Archie books.
Well, yeah, you can read. So you can read whatever. Well, not whatever. Some of my comics have naked people in them.
I don't want
And like dead bodies. And I don't think you're ready for naked and dead bodies. I think you're ready for Archie, huh?
No, your phone case is so cool.
To continue. Oh, no, put that down.
Look at the phone case.
Don't look at my phone case.
But it's cool.
I know, but that's not what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
So, I've taken my interview inspiration from one very specific person. My whole life, I have listened to NPR. My mom loved NPR. My dad liked NPR. He's Catholic, so, a little less liberal than my mom was, who was a history major and, just kind of a strange woman. But, yeah. But listening to NPR really helped me understand the way an interview works. Like, that you are there to ask questions that will inspire the person being interviewed to talk. Because the interview isn't necessarily about the questions, it's about the responses. And while my interviews do feature incredibly long-winded questions filled with anecdote and personal history, because I can't fucking help it, I really rely on asking very unique questions. I want to be able to ask things that make the respondent think, because I found that when I make the respondent think about how they feel about whatever project they're working on, or the genre that they've been, typecast into, or whatever, that I get way better responses than, what'd you think about that movie you were in? As opposed to, what was your emotional place when you were dealing with X situation in X really intense movie?
Yesterday, you did an interview and you asked it that exact question.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
And I don't remember what they said. Like,
you probably couldn't hear them because I had headphones on.
But I could kind of hear them, not clearly though.
Yeah, she was very nice though.
Yeah, she seemed really nice.
And her agent cracks me up. Like,
I could tell
she's
you
super
were laughing
funny.
like the entire time.
You were laughing the entire time.
What?
So.
I was laughing when I had laughing gas. That's true.
She had dental surgery. We don't just give our kid laughing gas. Just quick aside. So.
It's true.
Long story short, that interviewer is the incomparable, like the absolute phenomenon that is Terry Gross.
Who's
Terry
that?
Gross, well, let's talk about it. I have it pulled up, but I'll talk about what I know first before I get too far into it. So, what I personally know is Terry Gross was the longtime, and I think may still be one of the hosts of Fresh Air on NPR. She has interviewed literally everyone that I like.
Let me see what she looks like.
She looks like that. And for you guys, I will post a picture in this video so you can see what she looks like too.
Oh, I've seen her before.
So the San Francisco Chronicle says about her that she's a remarkable blend of empathy and warmth, genuine curiosity, and sharp intelligence. Gross, who has been the host of Fresh Air since 1975, which is longer than even I've been alive, when it was broadcast only in Greater Philadelphia, isn't afraid to ask tough questions. But Gross sets an atmosphere in which her guests volunteer the answers rather than surrendering them. What often puts those guests at ease is Gross's understanding of their work. Anyone who agrees to be interviewed must decide where to draw the line between what is public and what is private, Gross says. But the line can shift depending on who is asking the questions. What puts someone on guard isn't necessarily the fear of being found out. Sometimes it's just the fear of being misunderstood. And that is something that I feel is very important to interviewing. And it's something that I learned not from reading interviews with Terry Gross or, reading books that she wrote or anything like that. It's something that I learned just from listening to her.
Really?
Yeah, really. So this lady, this, typical NPR, kind of drawn down, calm persona, incredible interviewer who has interviewed literally everybody from, literally everybody.
Not everybody.
I bet.
She hasn't interviewed me.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm 9.
And anybody that has a really outstanding record of writing or filmmaking or music, like she even interviews like.
Has she interviewed you?
No, why? I'm not famous. I'm not even cool.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, I tricked her into saying that.
No, he didn't.
But Terry Gross is my get. Like, to sound completely like an asshole about it. Like I love Terry Gross. I love the way she interviews. I love the way she creates her show. I love the production value of it. Everything about it is what I would love for our interviews to be. And sometimes they are. Like, just genuinely, the interview I did with Tommy Chong is what really got the ball rolling on this.
I feel like most of your interviews are very good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You're being really nice to me. What do you want?
More spaghetti.
That's what I thought.
I want more spaghetti.
Well, there's more upstairs. Go get some.
Actually, no. I finished the entire can.
You did not finish
Yes,
the entire
I did.
can.
Yes, I did.
Oh, man. So, anyway, I'm going to spend the next, few weeks or however long attempting to do something that Juan usually does.
No, giving me SpaghettiOs.
Not giving you SpaghettiOs.
No.
That's easy to do.
Yay.
This is going to be a little harder, I think.
Oh,
But
really?
Juan is really talented at getting people on our show.
That's true.
It's not something that I really have ever done. But I feel, oh man, hopefully those dings aren't too obnoxious in the video. I feel that this should be like my personal endeavor because I don't know that Juan can and this isn't a slight on Juan, because Juan has gotten incredible people on the show just because I've said, oh yeah, put him on the show. Ah! Right?
Juan's crazy.
No, Juan is not crazy. I'm the crazy one.
You're both crazy.
Juan is Juan.
You're both crazy.
This is the one that I feel like I have to be the guy that says, I want to interview you and this is why. Mostly because in my mind, she has created that space for me to be able to say that to her and for her to listen and me to not be misunderstood, just like in her quote. I know our show's rough around the edges. I know there's probably people that wouldn't want to be on our show. I know that we're small. I know that we're just a bunch of dorks that live in Colorado talking about pop culture. I know
You are a dork.
you are a dork.
We're both dorks.
We are both dorks. I know that there's a lot of obstacles in the way, but I want to try this. And as a consequence, because Juan's always wanting more content, especially on our YouTube, I'm going to document it. When I do things like reach out, I'll read the letters to you. I'll tell you kind of what I'm doing, research that I've gone into, trying to find, how to contact her, all that sort of stuff. This is just my statement of intent. So,
okay then, I'm confused.
well, that's just me saying I intend to do this thing. And Juan is very excited for me to do it too.
You're gonna try.
I am going to try. And I'm going to try really hard. How's that sound?
Good.
Good.
Wait, you guys have a TOTLB comic?
No, it's just a picture on the wall.
No.
Anyway, so with that said, yeah, if you're new to the show, welcome. Please join us on Facebook. Go to our website, totlb.com, find all of our social media there. I'm going to give the normal end spiel here. All of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, I think Twitch too. We might be doing something new with that very soon. And then also, if you're interested in supporting the show, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/TOTLB. We'd love to have you on board. We'd love to have more listeners. And finally, of course, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me very easily on the TOTLB Facebook, and if you message and you want to talk or whatever, I would love to talk to you too. Or you can just find me on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find once you are on the TOTLB page on Facebook. So
yeah, I've heard what you just said like 80,100 million times.
80,100 million? That's a weird number.
And?
I don't think that number really works the way you think it does.
I don't think so either.
Well, anyway, with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this endeavor. I plan on working on it and making some videos over the next couple of days. Juan just sent me, like, the ding that you heard is the spreadsheet of people that we've interviewed in the past, and I will talk about some of that probably the next time I record.
How many people do you think you've interviewed?
Well, I can look really quick.
Oh, I didn't know if you give you the number of how many.
Let's look.
Let's see. I bet you've done a lot.
Oh, I gotta. Well, it's a spreadsheet. I'll look it up here in a little bit. All right. Anyway, sorry. I'll look that up. I'll tell you the next time. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Gabe. Who are you?
I've been Dork.
She's been Hannah.
Yeah.
She's probably the more entertaining side of this. But, yeah. I'm going to try to interview Terry Gross.
And I'm going to hope you're keeping.
You guys have a good day. Bye.